So we are not just resellers. We actually collect some things. Everything actually you see here in this cabinet are items that we actually physically bought as a reseller. These are things that we've added to our collection. Now, we're actually not just resellers. We actually collect quite a bit of things too. Soda shop stuff like Pepsi. My wife's a huge Pepsi fan. This is one of the things that we find quite often that most people tend to miss. This is something we've got quite a few different varieties of. When we get extra ones, then we sell them. But this is a soda shop fountain syrup glass for Pepsi. You can actually see the word syrup on there. You'd fill up the glass to that line with syrup. And then this would actually be the rest filled up with seltzer. It's a 10-ounce glass. It actually even says it. This was $1 at a sale. They pretty much didn't have a clue what it was, but something like that, that's a primo example. It's a nice one. It's actually marked, maker marked on the bottom too, with the company initial. So that one's a real nice one. 24 bucks, 25 bucks. Here's a Coke version. Doesn't have the line, but this is from a soda shop as well. Rarities are something else we do keep as well. Weebles, my wife collects Weebles. She's got a massive collection. Some are only available from one country or two countries. Now, this is the US in most versions in the globe here. This is the Clown Weeble from the circus set. This, though, is the one issued in, I think, Netherlands and Germany. It had green hair versus the red hair. The Acrobat as well is from that same foreign set, and you can tell the difference. These are worth a lot more than just the standard one. We keep a ton of stuff. We keep some of the better stuff, obviously, some of the things that really pique our interest. This actual barrister right here is from a hospital. This was bought by the hospital in like 1920, and we actually have a couple of these. These we were actually purchased from the hospital when they were tearing it down. I couldn't let these things go. I love these things. These things are awesome. Standard barrister, but again, it houses all of our actual keepers. Oddball things, unique things. Syrup jug here from Coke. We're not just into, say, Pepsi, so to speak, but we like interesting and unique items. This is a Hires root beer syrup bottle, and this actually makes 5 gallons worth of Hires root beer. Rather interesting. You could buy these. This was actually sold as a quack medicine at one time. Some of the bullet-style bottles, too. Love these things, too. We've got quite a few. This is a New York one. Most everything you see in here was purchased for like $1 or $2 at most. The scale here is from a candy store. It has the actual weights with it and the whole works. This piece here, I paid 20 bucks for this one at a junk sale once before. Does still work. I've got a lot of glass underneath it holding it up, but this is typical of what we do. My wife's middle name is Cleo, so we usually buy things with Cleo. I love local items as well, too. At one time, we knew the owner and founder of Frosty Soda, and we've got some bottles that were pulled from their estate. Again, these are things that I keep. These are the things that I find interesting to us personally, including what it's stored in as well, too, as you can see. This is just a mix, and this is just a very small portion of it. This has actually been filled, so at this point, we've got bottles other places as well, too. I've got another one of these, as I said, but I love vintage perfume bottles from the 50s and before. Wife loves them, too. 1920s perfume bottle with the original glass stopper. I love these sorts of things. Most of these are marked items. Items that are very easily identifiable. This one's actually one of my favorites here. This actually only has that much space to hold anything in it, and that is a nitroglycerin bottle from 1928. I love these kind too. Some points these were used as like a canteen, so to speak. Some of them would be mounted with rope or leather wrapped around it. It does help as well to have some bottles around so you can tell the difference in age. Most of the bottles that we have in here are ones that I've actually identified, I've dated, I checked on the construction, how they were made, and the whole works. I love bottles in general, so we've got them all the way from like 1820s case gin black glass bottles like that one there, whiskey bottles. I've even got an onion bottle back here in the back. Anything like that. Bottles in general, you can get a lot of money for them if you know your bottles. It does obviously help to have some idea on style, when a bottle was made, and the whole works. Best way to do that is to actually get some bottles and look them up and start identifying them, start figuring out when they were made. I like quack medicine, so there's a lot of quack medicine bottles in here. Now, a lot of people don't know the difference between a soda shop glass like this one here that says syrup and a regular one. Now, these could have actually been in a soda shop, but they would just mix it. They would just have a measure, or it automatically did it. This would be from the 60s or so. This is probably 50s or so down here. In fact, this one's probably older than that because it has the two dots between the I and the C. Those are usually earlier ones, but that's a nice one. Another example here of basically the same one, but this one has a 10-ounce mark on it and the other one does not. Again, you can run into some that will just have a single line running into it right down there. It won't say anything. It'll just have a line, and that's the mark. Usually we can get these fairly cheap. This one was 55 cents. It's an original Libby glass, 1950s, 60s or so. 15, 20 bucks bare bones minimum, but I usually get around 24 for most of them. I'll just put them up and leave them. Now, these are 1920s Pepsi glasses. I've actually showed these. We just found these not too long ago, but these are early ones with script on them. Let me stop this from falling here. I got a little too many in there. That's actually a faux one. That is not in an actual Pepsi cone top. It's just an example that I use to show people. Real Pepsi cone top's like 500 bucks. I have not found one as of yet for any reasonable price. Behind there, you can see some other early Pepsi bottles. The wife does have the first 2 or 3 Pepsi bottles that we made. I'm not going to dig them all the way out. They're way in the back, but maybe one day I'll just do a video on some old bottles. But in general, these are things that we collect and keep. This is something that I run into as a reseller. Sometimes it's a curse because you run into some cool things. A lot of people may do what I do and keep a lot of the better stuff. Now, this is just glass and bottle stuff that we keep. We've got tons of other things that we hang on to just out of sheer interest in them. So here's an interesting one since we're here. I'll show you this one. This is actually a promotional Pepsi bottle, and you can see it's one of the ones with the styrofoam on it. It's sealed, never been opened. And inside here is like a note, a letter talking about the opening of a Pepsi plant, from what I understand. Quite rare. I don't run into this sort of thing too, but we love unopened bottles, vintage ones. There's even a paper label one back here somewhere that's unopened, but this is what we do as well. We keep things sometimes. I do collect. So as a reseller that also collects, you understand both sides of it. You understand it from a buyer's point of view as well as a seller's point of view. I really think that being a collector helps you be a better reseller because you, again, know what to look for. You know what drives you nuts on something when it's misidentified or they don't know what it is or it's got damage or it's not in the best condition. You understand what those condition marks mean. You understand what the feeling is when something isn't right. That's a big plus to me when you're a reseller, is actually collecting and understanding the buyer side. You're a much better person as a reseller if you can see it from both angles. So you're not going to be quick to judge sometimes because someone complains maybe about a condition issue that you might not think is important. For like a record collector or something, every little aspect of the record itself is huge. It's important. But anyway, that's what I have for you today. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit that like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified if I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell all your friends. Now, I know I'm not big on promoting the channel, but if there is anybody out there who would like to support the channel and get something from it, I do have shirts out there now, a lean, mean reselling machine, many colors, many styles, many designs as well. So if you'd like to support the channel and get a shirt that you can wear and support it as well, please nab one of the shirts from down below the description box.
counting to Jiffy Pop, all systems go for great taste.
Roger, we've got heat.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And we've got pop-off.
Looking good control, buttery, crunchy, and light.
Think someday I'll really be eating Jiffy Pop in outer space?
I wouldn't go back there without it.
Look for Jiffy Pop's special Goonies glowing cap offer. See package for details.